in Nigeria. His first term was on the change matter, and his second term, somewhere along the campaigns, we heard a lot about next level, and truly we came in contact with next level. But in his first term, he used the change matter to deliver on 3 core areas besides other areas he achieved in the country, which was tackling security, fight against corruption, and revival of the economy. Indeed, the nation was in a recession, but through reflecting policies, the nation was taken out of recession. Tonight, we shall be looking at good governance, the next level agenda, as the government takes off almost immediately. But this will happen after this backgrounder, for those who should know, put together by Saliu Abdullahi.
We all need to move to the next level.
Next level is indeed one that calls for collective discharge of responsibilities and patriotism in line with the vision of the current administration. Next level without any political undertone means the level ahead or moving on. The word next level, however, became popular when President Muhammadu Buhari, at his inaugural speech to herald the 2019 presidential campaign, adopted it as a slogan to seek re-election. This is with a vision to sustain the successes achieved in his first tenure and build on the foundation laid for a strong, stable, and prosperous country for the majority of the people. Analysts believe that majority of Nigerians are not only familiar with the campaign promises of the APC in 2015, but they have come to appreciate the impact those promises in the areas of security, anti-corruption, and economy have made in their life.
And a lot of activities in terms of transportation. You can see the railway. By the next 4 years, we believe that railway will be all over the Federation.
Well, this is somebody who has traveled. This is the second time democratically, and you can say the third time being a military head of state. He knows where he has been to, and I'm sure what he has seen in the past. And this last 4 years, I'm sure he would have learned a lot of lessons and avoid any pitfalls.
We can see that the impact of Mr. President Buhari is giving us Nigeria a hope.
All these and more made Nigerians to re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo for another term to enable them realize their dream of taking Nigeria and Nigerians to the next level. Nigerians are hopeful as President Muhammadu Buhari formally took another oath of office for a fresh mandate of that 4 years.
The next level is taking Nigeria to the next level of progress, taking Nigeria to the next level of doing things right, taking Nigeria to the next level of a country where we will be providing employment, where we'll be taking more Nigerians out of poverty.
And we can't succeed as a nation except we come together and truly unite with common hopes, common dreams, and common aspirations.
The government at various forums has promised to make the next 4 years quite significant for socio-political development of Nigeria. In Abuja, Saliu Abdullahi, NTA News.
That backgrounder by Saliu Abdullahi puts us through for today's discussion on Tuesday Live, and it is looking at good governance, the next level agenda. Well, as usual, at some point in the program, we shall be taking calls, and if we join you, go straight to the point and make your issue, and we'll move on with the program. Tonight, I have with me Dr. Gloria Laraba Shoda. Dr. Gloria Laraba Shoda is the National President, National Council for Women's Societies, and also Coordinator, International Council for Women on Social Issues. Thanks for being on Tuesday Live.
Thank you.
Also, Festus Keyamo, SAN, Strategic Communications of the APC presidential campaign, and I believe you have so many other designations. Thanks for being on Tuesday Live.
Thank you for inviting me.
Also, Daniel Bwala, member Lincoln's in London, legal practitioner and public affairs commentator. It's a pleasure having you on Tuesday Live.
Thank you, my pleasure as always.
And if Katsina is ready, we'll be joined from Katsina via Skype by Dr. Mustafa Muhammad. But as soon as it's ready, we'll join him. But let's move on with the program. Well, the focus of the program is consolidating good governance, the next level agenda. A lot of conversations have been sustained regarding the next level agenda. Let me take off with Keamo before I spread. I know we took off with the lady, but let me take off with you on this. A lot of interpretations have been given to this next level agenda. Somewhere I said it is a metamorphosis from change matter to next level agenda. What do you make of it?
Well, first of all, happy Eid al-Fitr to our Muslim brothers. You forgot to, to felicitate with them.
Sure.
Now, luckily for us, before the campaigns proper took off, my office as the Director of Strategic Communications sat down with the Vice President and some staff of the Presidency, and we actually worked on the next level document. So I was privileged to be at the heart of the concept of the next level and the campaign manual by which we drove the campaign. Now, we looked at various aspects of the next level when we drafted those documents and made those documents available to the public. We looked at the creation of jobs. We looked at bridging infrastructural deficits. We looked at education. We looked at health. We looked at security. And then we looked especially at the National Social Investment Program, which is also at the core of the policies of this administration. And so, generally and as a whole, the next level, like we conceived of it, is to actually move up, scale up most of these efforts that the change agenda started. It's nothing more than that. We just want to scale them up. In other words, what we started in terms of bridging infrastructural deficits, what we started in terms of provision of jobs, what we started in terms of the economy, which is the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, and all of this will be scaled up at the next level. Now, if you allow me, I'll go to just a bit of specifics in all of these areas to show how we are moving up to the next level. For example, in the provision of jobs, we looked at the Anchors Borrowers Program, which is one of the components of the social investment, National Social Investment Program. Under the change agenda, 500,000 youths were trained. They were skilled in order to provide, small, macro, small and medium scale, enterprises for them to take off and for them to also employ one or two hands too, to aid them. At the next level, 1 million of them would be empowered under that scheme. So that is moving it up to the next level under that, program. Now, you also have the Anchors Borrowers Program that gave 350,000 small loans of about 82 billion that was made available, under the change agenda. Under the next level agenda, they are scaling it up from 350,000 to 1 million under the, the next level agenda, the Anchors Borrowers Program. So you're going to have about 1 million farmers at the next level having access to these loans under the Anchors Borrowers Program. Okay. In terms of bridging infrastructural deficits, you know that rail, roads, and power was one of the focal points of the administration under the change agenda. That will, of course, will continue under the next level. Under the next level, you have the 25 roads across the country in each of the geopolitical zones that are enjoying the Sukuk bond. They are going to complete them under the next level. The projects that are going on under the presidential initiative, also on developing infrastructure, PITF, like the second Niger Bridge and I think the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, they will be completed too. The rail from Lagos to Ibadan and then from Ibadan to Kano would be completed. The second phase of Ibadan to Lagos will be completed under the next level. And of course, the coastal rail from Lagos to Calabar will take off under the next level. The Eastern Corridor that takes off from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri would also start under, the next level. That is in the aspect of rail. Now, in terms of the economy, the core of the economy, the thrust of this administration in terms of the economy is the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan.
Let me hold you there.
Okay. So it's so much. Yeah, it's so much. Huge, yeah. But as we go on, I will tell you the components.
Yeah. So let me go to the President National Council of Women's Societies. The first shot or the first tincture of next level was given to a group of women who went to go and felicitate Mr. President after his emergence for a second term in office. And they said, one of the things I will do is inclusiveness.
Yes. Yes, I was part of that group.
Beautiful.
That visited the president. And let me talk about the change mantra and the next level, the way in a layman's language. I look at it as somebody buying an old house, and you have to knock it down. And it's very painful to see what you bought with your money being knocked down. A lot of things will be happening. You knock it down, but when you start building up the house, it starts getting better. The moment you finish building, what you need is to enhance it with aesthetic things, beautify it. So I'm looking at the next level as the level where Nigeria will feel better. Will look like that house that was bought, that was old, that has been knocked down, and now it is looking better and people are smiling. Well, we met the president and we discussed a lot of things, including the social welfare intervention, the anchor borrowers scheme that is going on, including, of course, the popular women inclusiveness into government. Yes, a lot of interventions are out and a lot of people have gained from it. I would say that even NCWS was giving, the BOI gave women in the rural area 50,000 naira for this thing. Though it's not enough, there's still, just a few women, like 30 women, and only in some states. This scheme is very good, quite all right, and the president is doing very well with it. But the insecurity, the poverty in the country is inhibiting all these things that are happening. All the positive things that are happening are being eroded by insecurity, insurgency, banditry. People will go to the farms, they can't come back home with their goods and all that kind of thing. So I believe that the next level is going to take care of that, and the president will use his political will as a general to take care of those areas. Yes, we asked for inclusiveness. We were shortchanged during the elections.
Do you agree that Kayama will agree with that?
Yes, that's why I looked at him. We were shortchanged. A lot of political parties collected money from women. Some gave them forms for free. And, of course, they had their night meetings and schemed the women out. Yes. We're still even begging some political parties to give us back our money that we paid for such things. And women are very peaceful people. Women are not, violent. They are not able to face any kind of violence. So such things were used to scare away the women. And we are hoping now that in the next level, the president will compensate the women. You will recall that in some before the elections, women went to the president. Women in this green uniform went to the president, and we made our demands. And we told him that he will win the second term, but we want him to compensate us for what we have done for him and what we are still doing for him. And he gave us his promise. And I believe that the president keeps to his words. I am sure of that. And now that he has been sworn in during Ramadan period, I'm sure he's still going to keep his words and make more women involved in the next coming government. We have been schemed out of the political one, but then we have so many appointments coming up. Ministers, DGs, managing directors, and so on. And of course, we have the local government elections coming. I am pleading here that, thank God that the local government is becoming autonomous. Maybe this time around, the women will be used as litmus tests to see how they will run the local government in readiness for running bigger positions in 2023. So that is what I will say about women inclusiveness. Okay. In the National Assembly, why can't we be Speaker of the House of... yes. Okay. Let them try another woman as a Speaker. We are taking the smaller part. We are saying Speaker. We didn't even say Senate President. We said Speaker. So we are hoping that this time around, the President will keep his promise and include a lot of women. We saw him today. He also promised us, even though he said he has given women the economy of the country to hold. That is the Ministry of Finance, and that he believes that that's very huge and that we should be happy with that. But we are saying that, yes, thank you very much, and we hope we will continue to keep that ministry and other ministries. After all, women have been minister for defense, and they did very well, even though it is minister for state, but it's for defense. And the woman did very, very well. So we hope and we pray, and we are appealing to the president to please keep to his promise this time around, so that we also can carry him to the next level while he's carrying us to the next level.
Thank you very much. Well, just a day after Mr. President was inaugurated for a second term of 4 years, he jet off to Mecca to attend the OIC 14th Summit. And but before I take the question, I hear our signals are up to Katsina. Let me quickly introduce our guest from Katsina. Joining us via Skype tonight is Dr. Mustafa Muhammad Inwa, Secretary to the Katsina State Government, former Chairman of Progressive Congress, Katsina State Chapter, and former lecturer, Department of History, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. I think we're having some challenge with the audio there. If that is fixed. But let me continue with Dan. His journey to OIC raised dust, but returning from OIC, a lot of pluses were gained, tied to what Keyamo said earlier. And one of it was the day he addressed OIC was very specific, that values of tolerance and moderation continue to guide their action as they collectively seek to promote global harmony, peace, and security. What do you make of the outcome of Mr. President's visit to OIC and back to Nigeria, given the reactions that followed that trip?
Well, thank you for having me. I quite frankly would have wished that question would have been tailored to the Lanelsik, because he is in the boardroom. I was not a party to the journey, and I didn't know the conversation that took place. But I know that coming back to the issue of the next level,
sure.
That
it's tied to it.
Yes, it's tied to it, especially the aspect of security. That the core component of the reason why the president ran in the first place was the passion to see that there is a fight against corruption, and that the economy is improved, and especially the problem of security to be handled in such a way that every citizen of Nigeria will have the confidence of right to life. And that is also supported by the constitution of the party and the fundamental derivative principles of state policy. I want to believe that the next level concept, because I wasn't there, the Lanelsik was there when they conceived the idea, but the whole concept is to ensure that what has been started in the first place is improved upon, and that the perceived setbacks, if as it were, that were encountered in the process in the first 4 years are improved upon in the next 4 years. So I want to believe that the next level is taking the foundational work to a point where Nigerians will begin to see the manifestation of the fruits of what has been started. And so you can take them one after the other. For example, the one that relates to the fight against corruption. It is a known fact that the fight against corruption, to a large extent, has recorded a great deal of success, especially in the area of non-conviction-based recoveries. Every day you hear a report of how monies were recovered from people. And then those ones that are based on conviction, you know it will take time. And I have a perspective on the way forward, especially with specific reference to the approach given by the anti-corruption body. When you look at the aspect of security, there is no doubt that the first 1-2 years of the president's administration, especially someone like me who comes from the Northeast and from Borno State, we have seen marked result. Our people were displaced, completely displaced in the entire part of that country. But as a result of the goodwill and the strong will of the president, we see to a large extent that every one of the people from our area were restored back to their respective places. But it would be suicidal to assume that just because we record the success at the time, therefore there is an end to the fight against insecurity in the country, as the people from the opposing party tend to project. Because there is no part of the world, whether it is America or England or even Russia, where you will not see renewed challenges arising from threats to the modern age. And my suggestion will be, as we go on in the conversation, will be to look at areas in which I believe that from the security perspective, we can improve. Because it seems to me that we have not placed so much credence on the human intelligence, and we have also underrated the power of technology. The human intelligence in the 70s and 80s have worked successfully for Nigeria. But we need to trust people. You remember recently the FBI, when there was a threat in America that the government was going to be shut down, the FBI had to cry out that if that should happen, they are going to have a great deal of setback. Why? Because they use monies in promoting human intelligence. You remember the president recently also said that the community are the people that bring information that is relevant for good governance. That is human intelligence. The advanced technology is the use of drones. If you look at Kaduna and Abuja, you look at the challenges there. If we deploy technology in the area of the use of drones, we're going to have a marked success. If you look at Zamfara, you look at Kogi, if you look at different parts of the country. So going to the next level, I believe the government will invest more, and I think the president has talked about that in the past, on advanced technology and on human intelligence, so that the intelligence agencies, when they are able to gather this intelligence and process it, the policymakers will be able to act effectively. Of course, in the area of the economy, I don't want to say much because the learned sick has said extensively on that.
Okay. Well, I hear our signals from Katsina is up, and Dr. Mustafa Mohammed Inwa is up. Doctor, thanks once again for joining us on Tuesday Live.
Hello? I beg your pardon, I can't hear you.
But my first question to you, if you can hear me, is what is your own view about the next level agenda for the next 4 years in Nigeria?
Can't hear you. Okay.
Audio challenge that will be fixed. As soon as we fix that, we'll get to Katsina. Well, let's go to specifics now. We have given a general perspective to this next level agenda tied to consolidating good governance. Would we say it was one of the takeoffs for the next level when the directive came from the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency regarding autonomy for local government areas?
Well, absolutely. This is what we have all clamored for. Over the years, since 1999, we have seen a gradual obliteration of the local government system, whether in terms of fiscal autonomy. When I say fiscal, that's financial autonomy. Whether even in terms of autonomy in terms of governance. It has been an absolute shame. And you can see that there have been several attempts in the past to amend the Constitution, to give directives, to make them truly autonomous. In fact, the Supreme Court has given several judgments confirming and affirming their autonomy. But somehow, these crafty politicians, and I mean the governors in particular, have found a way to navigate around these directives and the judgments of the Supreme Court and all of that. In fact, it has been a norm now that once a new governor is sworn in, he sacks all local government chairmen, despite judgments and judgments of the Supreme Court. Them, just imagine, take it, president coming and sacking all governors. The states. Now, who made fertile attempts to
women in general, and there are other social amenities that could actually be planned, when they use the finance in the way it should go. And also that will help rural urban migration, because lots of things are happening. So if in our local government levels we're able to have this, it will go a long way. And I want to say or advocate that women should be given the pride of place. And we women should love ourselves. We have looked at the fact that some of us women do not really love ourselves. And if the government or the leadership is able to employ the services of women from the various fields or professions, I tell you, our society will be a better place. And finally, I would like to say that those that have been in government, versatile in their various professions, and guide them in the way that I wish the leadership positivity. And I pray that God helps our society, our Nigeria, the giants of Port Harcourt.
Thank you so much. Well, Dan, please, let's take Dr. Inwa.
The jurisprudence behind that is the executive runs the government. They have a vision as to what they want to do. They have the vision as to the monies they are expecting, because budget is about expected revenue and expected expenditure. And that is the powers given to the executive to make those proposals, to prepare the budget. So when the legislation now sits down, tears the documents to pieces, removes a project, adds their own project, it's no longer a document prepared by the executive. The only thing they can do is to question some of the expenditures, question some of the pricing, question some of the expected revenue, the expected revenue, because if you base it on $53 to $40 per barrel, so you cannot hold on to budget and then ground the whole country.
Their own rule, but they always say they're looking for
no. You see,
being representative of the people.
No. It's not about
establishment of the office in regard to the economic, and this office now will allocate it in 109 senator constituency. Then, for instance, how can that offices would be allocated to those constituencies?
Okay. Thank you, Ibrahim. Well, Dan, I'm to come to you with the next perspective, but let's go to Katsina now. I hear the signals are true, and we must say we apologize to the Secretary to the government of Katsina State for all the agenda.
Hear you.
Very crucial here.
It's like a friend. I've had a couple of times a number of governors who have done creditably well in our party. And so we, as a party member, if you are a senator, lead by example. House of Representatives of the party agenda.
The next line of question will go to all of us, but let's go to Zaria, where Sylvester has called in. Hello, Sylvester. Hello, if you can hear us, Sylvester, you're on to Tuesday Live.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I want to commend all the presenters there. They've made giant contributions to what the issues on that discussion. Seriously speaking, I want to commend also this administration. Our president has put a lot of issues on the table, which I believe that we can achieve. But be that as it may, I also have some issues with some of the programs. In fact, the conceptualization of the next level, according to what Kayamo has said, is important. But I still want to put into consideration that the next level has to come in such a way or manner that Nigerians can feel the impact of President Muhammad Buhari. So let me say this clear. Mark my words, if this next level issue did not accomplish in 2023, APC will collapse. The reason because the goal that APC has now is the president. And if the president did not push further to achieve all the programs he has said, which of the politicians that we have in APC or PDP, or which party that can come up and compare himself with the president right now? So APC should be very careful with the way they push for this next level agenda, so that if they achieve it, the country will be happy and will be happy to vote APC again in 2023. That's on the one hand. But on the other hand, the issue of establishing a secretariat or a hall in each of the constituency in Nigeria is a very, very strong issue. I have also see as important from the APC. One thing you should understand is this. We have liaison office in Abuja for all the states. In fact, if you go to liaison office today that you want to collect indigent form, if you want to apply for job in something, say it's not relevant, go to your local government and collect it. In fact, some of the parastatals in Nigeria refuse to accept liaison office indigent form. It has happened to me and it has happened to so many people that have witnessed it. So it is important that we try to see this or put it into deep consideration so that as we are establishing this, we should make it valid for Nigerians to see and all of us to see. So the issue of the economy, security, or what have you, please, I am begging the APC. I voted for APC. I know how it has been. It is not easy for Nigerians to pass through the same process of the previous 4 years that we've gone. The 4 years that we've gone, we believe is a foundation that is created. Now let's see the structure coming up now, visible, so that Nigeria in the marketplace, at home, anywhere can fit. In fact, right now I'm hearing that us want to go on strike. Please. This issue, we are all university students. We want this issue to be resolved so that students in the university, even in secondary school, primary school, can feel the impact of this administration. May God bless our president. May God bless the Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvester. Well, Sylvester has spoken to the next point we're to go into. And now that point is, if we want to go into specifics, I believe in 4 hours will not be enough.
Absolutely.
But we're about to go on break. When we come back from break, we'll sustain that. We'll take a break now. I'll be right back.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Make you report any crooked person, object or wakajube movement to police and security agent demo.
The security of our nation now work for all of us, plus including me and you.
Nigeria, make we unite against terrorism. Now, Federal Minister of Information and Culture bring on this message.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Welcome back. It is still Tuesday Live, and before we sustained conversation in the studio, we took the conversation to the streets. Let's hear the views of Nigerians on this issue.
God will help the new government to be successful. The issues we had before, we hope the new government will be able to tackle it. The economy, the insecurity, though they have done better, but then I think there's still more they will do, considering the headsmen and the bandits in the northwest and northeast, which is escalating, and it's giving us great concern as citizens. So we hope that with the new government, things will be better, the economy will be buoyant. All the promises that were not achieved in the first term will now be achieved, because like what the government is saying, now they have the majority, and I think majority carried the vote, and we voted APC to a certain extent because, like what the president said, he has not completed his mandate, and I think the additional 4 years will give him the time, though it's only 4 years more. I mean, he has only 4 years to go, but then I think he has an able team. Particularly, the vice president is doing very well, and equally some of the ministers, though some are not really the past marks average, but those are very excellent. Particularly,
the next level we said, Mr. President has been trying, especially on security, which everybody knows. If it is before, if I won't be able to celebrate this Salah peacefully, but we thank Almighty Allah what the President Buhari has done for us. And the next level we are now, we still plead to him. He has tried seriously, and people surround him to look out what is happening. What do we supposed to do next, especially on education, security, and economy. Economy, very, very important.
Everything is going to be all right. Because I can see now everything is going well. We have security about what happened in Zamfara and Katsina. You understand? So soldier, police, they are over there to scrut all the people. So the only thing that I know, mashallah, next time Buhari is going to do well.
Around, we really pray for him. Thank God, as you can see, he's healthy now. And he really have the time now for Nigeria, as he promised. This next level, by special God's grace, he will try his best, and people will expect more from him.
Those were Nigerians reacting to the consolidating good governance, the next level agenda. Now, back to the studio. We were now to look at, are there probably envisaged challenges if the institutions, the constitution, and other matters are not properly factored as the next level agenda takes up? Let me take on a Kiamu now, looking at the constitution tied to the concurrent, residual, and exclusive lists.
Absolutely. And you will notice that in some of the programs that are contained in the next level document, there are programs that you need the states and the local government to fully cooperate with the federal government for those next level programs to work. For instance, you know there's the next level for education. If you look at the next level for education, part of the agenda is to remodel 10,000 schools per annum. And these 10,000 schools are actually secondary school and, of course, primary schools. You know that, strictly speaking, it is not a federal, problem. It's not a burden of the federal government. It's not a duty of the federal government to do this. But they have set out to do this because you can't wait forever whilst our educational, institutions are crumbling at that level. And those are the most important part of the developmental stages of our children. So in remodeling these schools, for instance, you need the cooperation of the states and the local government. First of all, to identify the schools that are, most strategic in their local governments. They also have to help to remodel some of these schools, so you also need them to be frugal in spending. They also need to also assist the federal government to ensure that the 10,000 are achieved, 10,000 per annum, they are achieved in each of these states and local governments. Going alongside with this is the training and retraining of teachers. It's part of the next level education. You can't just remodel the schools and then you have teachers in those schools who cannot even spell, words. And we have seen that before. Now you can see that the Kaduna State government has cooperated fully in that. They're not even waiting for the federal government to do that. It was one of the controversies, that dogged the part of El Rufai the other time. But then, hey, he has succeeded. Because they went into the schools, they brought out the teachers, they looked at the ones who were not delivering, who could not even teach the pupils in the first place. And they had to, ease them out of the system, retrain some and brought them back. Edo State also did the same thing, if you remember, when Oshomole was governor of Edo State at that time. And of course, it drew all kinds of criticisms and all that, but at the end of the day, the end justified the means because they had quality teachers who were brought in. And then, of course, that technology has developed these days. You have so many of these teachers who are what they call the old school, who are not savvy in terms of computer savvy and all that. You need them in the system now to train our young ones. So in terms of education next level, you need the cooperation of the states and the local government at that level to make sure that these programs succeed. Of course, you also know that the social investment programs are not done on the, at the federal level. Sure. They go through the states. And there are 4 components of that program. In all the 4 components of that program, you need the states to also cooperate in identifying the markets, the people who are to be empowered. And then you need a bipartisan approach to this. You must insulate it totally from politics. You can see how the other programs of the various governments before now, these social intervention programs ended up being programs of political parties. They just empowered, party members. But this is the first time you can see a social investment program is completely insulated from politics. Okay. It's bipartisan. All kinds of people, they are not APC members or PDP members. Those who actually want, deserve to get some of this succor, they get some of this, this succor. And you know that the social investment program has reached 13 million Nigerians directly. It's a direct intervention in the lives of 13 million Nigerians. And those are the 4 components.
Okay. Let me hold you there and take on Daniel to look at, you have looked at the components of cooperation now, looking at the Constitution. Let's look at enforceables. Right. Institutional strengthening. If enforcing institutions are not strengthened, will this work?
It will not. And if you permit me, I will just highlight a few things on specific institutions, like what the learning
within enforceables.
Within
enforceable. I'll come to Madano.
Exactly. Okay, so let's take, for example, EFCC.
Beautiful.
EFCC is playing a key role in the success of this administration. As a matter of fact, if you ask for my opinion, I would say when we had real challenges in security, we had challenges with the economy, the anti-corruption fight was able to sustain to the point where we had accolades from the international body. However, there is more that needs to be done in EFCC. And I will tell you that. We need 2 things to push and change the climate of EFCC. Number one, people ownership of the fight against corruption. The people from the opposing party, they always find reason to say it's a selective fight. They find reason to attack it because we do not give the general populace the ownership of the fight. For example, in secondary schools and universities, EFCC can initiate programs in partnership with schools where there could be 1 or 2 enlightenment programs on how to fight corruption. Now, on the head of the anti-graft body, we have this problem of institutional cooperation within the various intelligence or security or enforcement agencies of the government. Now, this is because conventionally, if you look at the provision of EFCC Act, it says that the EFCC chairman shall be somebody not below the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, either from the police or from any of the sister security agencies. But from when EFCC was established in 2004 up until now, conventionally we have always selected police officers to pilot the affairs of EFCC. And we have recorded success. But you recall, and everyone will see that over a period of time we encounter problem with cooperation from other security agencies. Now, going forward, this is my suggestion to the government in the future. Let the institution be opened to other security organizations, so much so that the chairman of EFCC can come from Defense Intelligence, he can come from Department of State Services, he can come from the from other security agencies. Once it becomes an institution where there is ownership by the joint law enforcement, I am telling you, when it comes to providing intelligence, when it comes to the fight, we are going to have a very broad-based approach to the fight against corruption. And I will suggest one more thing. I am not in total agreement with the proposal of the National Assembly regarding the amendment of the EFCC Act, because some of their provisions are mischievous. But one that I agree is that going forward, the chairman of EFCC must also be a legal practitioner that has a standing not less than 10 years at it. I will tell you why. Now, we have had EFCC chairman from Ribadu up to Magu, right? Now, Ribadu, up till today, arguably, has been considered as the most successful. I believe that Magu has matched his success. But why Ribadu was considered as most successful is because he is a lawyer, number one. He understands that in this fight, you can do your best in prosecuting a case and still lose the case. It doesn't mean the judge has been bribed. It doesn't mean that because you lost the case, therefore everybody is against the government. In America, in England, in fact, FBI, CIA, and all the security agencies in America check their heads. Whether they come from the army or from whatever body, they have a background in law. Okay. The reason, allow me just 1 second. The reason why it is important, I will tell you that in just 30 seconds, is because if the head is a lawyer and has the knowledge of law, he will understand and better appreciate the courts, the institution of the court, the orders of the court, the judgment of the court, and how you can partner with the judiciary in this fight. Because in this fight, if you cannot pull the judiciary and the general populace, every time you take a step, there will always be a political undertone right away.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's take this call from Owerri. Prince, calling in from Owerri. Hello, Prince.
Hello.
Hello, Prince. Go ahead. You're on to Tuesday Live.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Hello.
Go away. You can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Prince Chebes Young. Okay, thank you. Yeah, please, I'm very, very much grateful, more especially in analysis of Mr. Daniel. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very much happy in analysis of Mr. Daniel, based on the way he's analyzing about the governance. So if I am to say, I quite agree with him that the problem of Nigeria mostly lies on the governance, because based on the immunity given to them, they said that they are above the law. For instance, now in this very local government autonomy, they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that it is not ruled. But if this very government of Buhari, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, happens to succeed in giving autonomy to the local government, if it is only what he achieves as a president, Nigerians will be very much glad with him. We know that he has achieved a lot. Because in the area of change in his government, we have seen how maybe he's tackling his change. Also now we are moving to the next level. We are still watching. But if by his grace he happens to achieve this very autonomy of local government, which is paramount in development, rural development, in rural development, because that is the easiest way to reach the poor masses in the village. I mean, the downtrodden in the village. I mean, Nigeria will celebrate with him. We'll praise him that he has achieved a lot. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, Prince. Now, tied to what he says, I was to come to you, Madam, looking at agriculture and transportation, tied to next level.
Yes, thank you very much. Before I go to that, I want to quickly say the next level document, because Keyamo is here and he has been talking a lot. He knows a lot about this document. I believe I heard that there's 35% affirmative action in the next. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Yes. So I just want to appeal quickly to the president. If he's listening to us, if he's not, I'm sure Keyamo will help us tell him that please, this 35%, we're not saying that 35% is not even really enough, because even Guinea-Bissau has, more than 35% now. We're saying that they should take Nigerian women to the next level with this 35% affirmative action. The reason why we are taking out 35% is not because Nigerian women cannot have 50% or 70%. It's just because Nigerian women are marginalized. Therefore, if we have our own 35%, we can, from our women that are qualified and that can lead and that can help the president to take his government to the next level too, will be able to be in government. So I am appealing. And I'm very happy too that the youth now, they have reduced the age.
How many percentage are we in that document?
No, I'm talking about the age. No, the women have youth. The women are not all old women.
Okay.
The women are both.
It will come to women, come to youth.
The women are not all. The women have youth.
Yes.
And we thank God that they say youth is now pegged at 29 years.
Yes.
15 to 29 years. Because, in the political parties, we have 65-years-old people that are youth, and they are youth leaders. So the youth also are part of us. They are part of the women. And amongst the women, we have youth. So we are not saying that give 35% to youth, give another 35% to women. So don't be scared. Then we're talking about transportation and agriculture. This is very, very important to me, because this anchor borrower thing, we give a lot of women. We have women farmers. We have a lot of women farmers, especially in the area of rice farming and grain in many areas. And their main problem is transportation. So the rail transportation is very, very key. It's very important. If we have rail transportation, it's cheaper, because you can move a lot of goods from far away places. When I was growing up, as a young lady, we traveled from Maiduguri to Lagos by rail. Yes, we spent 2 days traveling from Maiduguri to Lagos. If we have rail transportation, at least they can transport their goods easily to the cities where they sell them, and they can also make better profits of their goods, and they won't incur a lot of loss like they do right now. And women will not endanger their lives by sitting on top of trailers. You see trailers, women carrying bags of rice, bags, maybe yams, and they are sitting on top. They are not sitting in the cabinet or anything. They are sitting on top. If there's a very serious gallop, some of them can just fall off and die. So transportation in the next level is very, very key for women. And also you said
agriculture.
Agriculture.
Yes.
Yes, women are ready to farm, but we have problem of like flood. There should be some intervention in the states. When they give these women, the anchor borrowers, money to farm, they should also assist them with technical know-how to guide against flood, especially where last year a lot of our women lost their rights in Taraba, in Adamawa area, and so on, and it was very devastating for us. So not only giving them money, they should be trained on how to use the money, and they should be given the technical people that will teach them what to do in case there are a flood or any kind of disaster like that. I don't know whether they do insurance on things like that. I don't know whether they do insurance on farming. If they do, or the government can set up something like insurance, so that if you lose your farm, you can regain your money. I know it's government money, it's government intervention, but the money also should be protected. That is what I believe. So we need good transportation. Okay. We need good roads, not just the transportation that will, I mean, your vehicles will be breaking down here, and they will need good roads. And we need more of the rail transportation that we have now, that people are enjoying from here to Kaduna. We also want to ride from here to Lagos in the trains.
Okay. Can we just expand the agricultural thing a bit? So?
Yes, yes.
You know, at the heart of the economic policy of this government is the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. Now, one of those, key components of that plan is to improve the macroeconomics. And improving the macroeconomics, one of also the key components of that is to expand the economy beyond the mono economy. The key to expanding this economy beyond the mono economy of dependent on oil, is agriculture. So we are lucky that this federal government, like you just pointed out, is concentrating a lot on agriculture. And you can see that we are beginning to export. We have become so self-sufficient in food production in the last 4 years. Like the president always says, that we have been very lucky that we had rains, especially in those areas where we farm. We had a lot of rains and we had a lot of harvest. So we have become so self-sufficient in food production to the extent that we are exporting. Now, the last data I have is the first quarter of 2018, where we earned about 577 billion naira from non-oil exports generally. And most of that came from agriculture. Now, in doing that, the federal government is also expanding to a livestock, program, policy, where they want to get a lot of dairy, hide and skin, and all that from, livestock, a livestock policy, where they can get all of these, cows and all that, and keep them somewhere. It's going to provide a lot of jobs. In fact, they're estimating it to provide about 1.5 million jobs. Instead of allowing them to roam all over the place, and that is where we need the cooperation again of the states and the local government in providing land. We must stop this politicization of the farmers and the herders crisis.
Yes.
We must stop it. The truth of the matter is that those opposed to this government, they really don't want a solution to the crisis. Yeah. They don't want it because they see it as a sore point that they will use to continue to punish government. Maybe because government has sincerely put so many options on the table. Do we do cattle colony? They say, oh no, you want to colonize everywhere. Okay, do we do ranches? Oh no, we have no land for ranches. So do you want the cows to be in the air? Where would they ranch them? And most of those land are not our state lands. They are local government lands. They are family lands. Federal government has limited land all over the country. So how can they now drive the livestock policy of this government without cooperation from the states and the local government? There's also the mechanization policy, agricultural mechanization policy coming that should provide about 5 billion jobs, where there will be a lot of mechanized farming, employ a lot of people in these farms, federal government projects that will take a lot of people off the streets in terms of, agricultural produce. So a lot is coming in terms of agriculture. Let's not forget also the fertilizer initiative. Sure. The federal government fertilizer initiative, where 12 fertilizer blending plants have been revived under this government, and more of those plants will come again. more of those plants will be revived. They are providing jobs also. And then you can see that the price of fertilizer has crashed to about 5,000 naira, except that recently there was a fluctuation in the price. To be honest, it came up to 6,000 or 7,000, but they are working on it.
Okay.
So you can see that agriculture is at the heart of expanding the economy.
Okay, let's take this call from Emeka, then we proceed. Hello, Emeka, you're on to Tuesday Live. Emeka calling from Port Harcourt. Hello. We lost that call. Well, quickly, let me just veer off briefly. Change Matra came, Nigeria became the headship of ADB, African Development Bank. Absolutely. Shortly, Nigeria became Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. And the next level had hardly taken off when Nigeria is elected the 74th president of the UN session. And I think that's a plus for all. We'll get to that. But now, where will Nigeria be? Will we say with all this, if everything were put together across the sectors, across the tiers, and across the levels of government is achieved, will we say that Nigeria is truly heading towards the path for industrialization? Industrialization, yes.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Any country that improves on the economy and create a safer environment for business that promote public participation, that is public-private participation in the economy, that provide education for the people, and then you begin to see employment, because I think that we are behind by 18% in terms of unemployment. Now, any country that is able to lay the foundation, which I believe strongly that our party and this government has laid the foundation in the first 4 years, and because it was at the foundational level, nobody saw it. There are some of these economic principles. Because we have, over the years in this country, built a culture of magic and miracles. If you can't see it now, it is not working. If you can't see it now, it is not it. And so when the foundational, for example, look at this Treasury single account. Look at the way it has stopped so much of corruption. Look at the way revenues are generated left, right, and center. So any country that is able to establish this foundational work is definitely on the path of honor. And we can boldly, like you asked the question, say that we are indeed moving in a positive direction. But you see, we must not conclude conversation tonight without hammering on security, security, security. The nation is being challenged by security problem. This administration is working day and night to address that. And this administration is open up to ideas. Anybody who has ideas on how we can employ all the necessary strategy, because if you don't know strategy, you suffer tragedy. And doing one thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, they say is the definition of insanity. The president, in my opinion, will have to look at the heads of the security organizations in the country. I know from his background as a military general, he knows the way warfare goes, and how that in the midst of a dance, you don't take the actor, which was the basis why, despite all the outcry in the last administration, he didn't change the service chiefs. But this is a new day. And I believe that it is imperative that the president looks into it. I'm not particularly saying, sack this man, sack this man, sack this man. But if you give me the honor of becoming the prefect today, and you give me 2 weeks, I try my best, because I cannot say that they have not tried their best. But if my best is not enough, it is only nice that you ask someone else to do. And very importantly, we will be destroying the culture of succession when we don't provide opportunity for people under to come up. Were it not for the retirement of the former IG of police, and then we see a new one with concept and ideas, would we have discovered a man with this incredible idea? And so in all aspects of the security, we have to look into it. Because it has come to a point where, let me tell you something, sir, with the greatest respect. If you sit on this table, today, tomorrow, 1 year, 2 years, and you lack the capacity to be creative, to improve on where you are, to initiate the idea, and then move forward, if care is not taken, the productive capacities of your downline will begin to die. And time will come, what you have there will be a state of redundancy. Security, security, security. Every day the president is very concerned about that.
Every time you watch TV, you see calling for the service chiefs for meeting. He wants briefing, he wants briefing. Something has got to be done because every part of the country is under threat. Some of the threats, to be honest, are masterminded by the opposing party. Some of them, they take pleasure in that. And so we must find ways of checkmating that. If you don't know strategy, you suffer tragedy.
Okay, let me transform Keyamo to a diplomat now. The Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament recently has said that the Parliament is coming up with resolutions to back up Mr. President as ECOWAS chairman, tied to his position as the champion of anti-corruption in Africa. Now, with these positions right now by Mr. President tied to the next level, what's our chances in terms of prospects?
Well, you know, we need regional cooperation, 100% regional cooperation to tackle insurgency, to tackle corruption also. Most importantly, because, you see, most of the Boko Haram problem and most of the farmer herders problem, they also translate to cross-border crimes too. And you have seen it over and over too that the flow of light arms across the whole of the West African region is also affecting not only Nigeria, it's affecting other countries, our neighbors. We also know too that the Boko Haram menace has spread beyond Nigeria to Cameroon, to Chad, to Niger Republic. And so at times when they commit these crimes, they go across the border to these other countries. If we don't have cooperation with them, if we don't cooperate with them, then of course you know that we are not ready to fight and confront this problem. So you can see that the president is always in, at different meetings with these regional leaders over this issue of insecurity.
And one is coming up soon.
One is coming up soon again. Now, you also know that before the elections, maybe give you some expo, like we say, some intelligence report. most people who laundered money, and because the EFCC led by Magu was very vigilant in terms of the flow of money and money laundering during the elections, most of those monies came in through Niger Republic. If you don't know, I'll tell you today. Most of these corrupt politicians brought in money through accounts in Niger Republic and tried to move in cash into the country through Niger Republic. It was by the cooperation of Nigeria and the Niger Republic, president and authorities that we stopped most of those flow of money. In fact, at the point, Magu had to relocate to Niger Republic to trace some of those funds. So that's the kind of cooperation you need, regional cooperation, to fight insecurity and, of course, corruption.
Okay. Now, I'll take the very last question with Madam because she's our mother here. Yes. Let me go to Dan. Now, the president of the 73rd session of UN General Assembly, Espinosa, who is about to hand over to a Nigerian, her visit to Nigeria was on multilateralism and promotion of youth's involvement and women involvement. But most importantly was the international advocacy for the recharging of the Lake Chad Basin. If this is done, in terms of boosting agriculture, what are the prospects?
The prospects will be massive, but it's capital intensive. I don't know if on her visit, the UN also proposed to assist in this endeavor, because I know for a fact...
It was in our agenda.
In the agenda.
One of it was to give international advocacy to promote the recharging of the Lake Chad.
That would be awesome, because I come from the part of the country where the Lake Chad we're talking about is by our, behind our backyard. And so that will be very, very unsubstantiated. This insurgency, these Boko Haram people, they occupy that area. And so you can imagine if we take up this project, assuming that something like that is going on, even that area will be taken care of. So I don't have so much to say, other than to say that for the United Nations to particularly take interest in Nigeria to come up with this, it means that the foundational work of this government is being appreciated. If not within, it is appreciated largely without, which is the reason. In the past, what we used to hear from the United States, from the United Kingdom, and from the United Nations are warning. If the government does not play a role in stopping corruption, in blocking these things, we are going to act against the government. What we are seeing now is the promotion of citizens of Nigeria as ambassadors of the progress that we are laying the foundation for across the shores of the world, and then people coming in to express interest. Even talking about investors. On recent time, you see the increased participation of foreign investors in Nigeria.
Were it not for the security situation that somehow in the past 2 years affected our progress to a large extent, we would have by this time experienced probably a speedy acceleration of the project. So we are on course, if you permit me to say that.
Okay, now from all what we have said, madam, do we have hope?
Yes, we have hope. I want to talk about the recharging of Lake Chad because I believe that it will promote growth, the economy, agriculture. It will reduce the herdsmen's menace because at least they will have a grazing area in that side, and it will bring back our fish that we normally get from Maiduguri. And I also want to talk about the ease of doing business thing that Kiamut said. We tried it in National Council. We wanted to do ease of doing business with women. We discovered that a lot of women don't know even anything about business. They don't know how to register their businesses. They don't know how to, a lot of them don't even pay tax. They don't even go to banks. So we need sensitization. This is a good idea if they have in the 109.
They call one-stop shop.
One-stop shop where when we went for study tour in Algeria, we saw that kind of thing where you go, you register your business, you do all your thing in just one building. So if this type of thing comes to fore in Nigeria, it's a very, very good development.
Maybe beside what the NTA is doing, you need to engage Kayamo to give a snippet.
Yes, that's why I'm getting a lot of things from him here. And then there's this ICT innovation hub that I heard about.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so that too is a welcome idea for technology. And at least if we have them we only have them in 2 places now.
Yeah, but they're going to expand them.
Yes, in Lagos and Abuja. Yes. We pray that we'll have them in all the states so that our youth will be able to advance themselves. They will be able to. They are very creative. They have a lot of things in their head, and they need this type of hubs to improve the economy. So I believe that Nigeria is going to be better.
Okay. But the participation of the youth in governance is very, very important because oftentimes when they talk about participation of the youth in the area of employment.
Sure.
We have incredible youth that can pilot several affairs of the various, sub-governmental organizations.
Let me tell you this. Are you done, madam?
No, wait.
Something to also assist the women.
Yes.
That I think before we close the program we must talk about at the next level. You know what they call the off-grid program, power program for various markets. They call it the market clusters. And that is very important for women empowerment. Yes. They have model markets, now 5 of them across the country, where they take it away from the normal power that is provided by the normal discos and the gencos. Yes. They now do clean power, solar power, from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock uninterrupted.
That's a great idea.
To promote macro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. Yes. Now, they have 16 markets they are doing now across the country model. They are going to expand it to 300 markets.
Wow.
Where they are not connected to the normal power source of power supply. The federal government goes there, provides solar power, and make sure that they work from 8 o'clock and to 5 o'clock they put it off. So that
we need to know these things. We need, sensitization.
But it's already in Sura market, it's in area markets. They have 5 markets that they took up already
know that they
the
have
last 2 years. Now they are going to expand to 300.
Like I said, I think you need to
300 markets.
Under the aegis of NCWS, engaged.
Yes, so these things are there. The public college needs to know.
I think you should come and talk to us one day.
Absolutely.
Yes,
we invite you to come and talk to us.
These programs are there going on. And there are also 9 universities. Not only markets.
Let's proceed.
9 universities, federal universities are going to benefit from this off-grid program.
Wow.
Off-grid, 9 universities.
Let's proceed. Before we
clean
go,
power.
I believe, Kayamo, you get a consultancy there with NCWS. Well, something I have reserved for this moment. What words do you have to put the formal recognition of June 12th officially by this administration? Let me start with Daniel.
Okay. It's a welcome development, to be honest with you, because we know
will that somehow boost the next level agenda?
It will boost the next level agenda to the extent of, especially people from the Southwest, because
late Abiola is a representation of democracy in Nigeria. He was one of the politicians that was able to carry the entire nation. That election, till date, has not been matched by any election in terms of overwhelming vote from every part of the country. Now, whatever happened has happened. And some of the past administration that are pointing accusing finger on this government didn't have the balls to recognize June 12th. The president took the initiative against all odds, even with the criticism. Even on the day he took the oath of office, they were criticizing him for not giving speech. Such a mundane conversation, as if giving speech is provided for in the Constitution, that when you take oath of office, you must give speech. So people are still trying to politicize a move that I believe is very pivotal. So the recognition of June 12th, in my opinion, may not be economic development, may not be security improvement, may not be fight against corruption. But remember, the Constitution recognizes social integration of people from every part of the country. Absolutely. And that is going to be a big plus.
Let me tell you what it does. It brings about what they call closure. If you know what closure is about also justice. When you have an injustice that is existing for so many years, and people refuse, different governments refuse to address that injustice. Like we have the Martin Luther King Day in America. This is more like it too. Now, so it is not even, to the, satisfaction to the people of the Southwest, like Daniel said. It's the entire country, because the principle behind it is that never and never again are we going to have, the military come back to politics. We must continue to, tinker with this democratic process until we get it right. Never again are we going to have an election that is annulled by anybody. Thirdly, the people's will must always prevail. We are going to continue to tinker with our democratic process until we get a near perfect process. But the people's will must always prevail. So on June 12 every year, we are going to remind ourselves of these 2 or 3 basic principles. And I think we need to go further. We need to make a constitutional amendment to shift the handover date from May 29 to June 12. I'm serious. That's the next level, because we can't afford these 2 holidays. Now the president we are going to spend money twice. They have split the handover date and the ceremonies between May 29 and June 12. It can't continue like that every year. We are going to have another parade again, another whole ceremony at Eagle Square on June 12. We're going to have the whole of those ceremony again. And all the heads of states are going to come again. They're going to come. The diplomats that we invited, they're going to come back again. So now we need to amend the Constitution to shift the handover date. If they say that the president wants to extend his tenure to by 12 days, that'll be 14 days in 2023, so be it. Or he may say, okay, it takes off from the next president. He may not even enjoy it. But the point is that we need to shift the handover date in that Constitution from May 29 to June 12, so that we have, like they say, one-stop shop on that day.
Okay, let me take it, madam. If all this succeeds, what's your projection about Nigeria in the next 4 years?
It's difficult to say the projection of Nigeria in the
if all this succeeds.
Yes, but if it succeeds, then Nigeria is going to be great. And then we are going to be looking at Nigeria, a higher Nigeria that looks like those days when things were free, we could move around, free. Everybody is everybody's brother. You are from the east, you are from the north, you are from anywhere. Everybody is together. And there will be growth, there will be development, and that is what we need, national development. We need also the national growth, which is different from development. And our youth will be calmer. All these things that are happening now, drug addiction, rape, and all sorts of things, kidnapping, everything is because they are pent up and people are just behaving anyhow. But when the country moves forward, then the youth of the country will be happier. And when they are happier, problems will be reduced, and we will sleep with our 2 eyes closed. Okay. So we are hoping that in the next level, I'm happy on the fact that our president must always use his political will and his experience as a general to make sure that a lot of things happen. I know it's democracy. If it was in the army time, maybe things will just go on the way he wants it. It will happen the way he wants it. But this time around, he has to, consult, do a lot of things. But we hope the governors will allow this thing to happen.
Okay, let me take on down. Projection 4 years from now, if all in place works.
If all that we are talking about and much more that people will continue to engage takes place, I see a Nigeria where by the next 4 years, the youth are going to take the leadership of the country. It's long overdue. Look at the whole world.
Yes.
Coming back to what she said, which is in relation to the projection, when the youth believe that they run within under a caged, there's a limit to which you can not go beyond, a glass ceiling that you cannot break. You can never occupy a position of leadership. At best, your best will end up in employment. At best, your best will end up in miniature entrepreneurship. Then it becomes a problem. But what the president is doing is he's laying a foundation. I can only advise and suggest that the president should double up on that. 4 years from now, 60% of the people in governance, if you add to their years, they may not be strong physically, or they may not even be relevant. Are we preparing the youth? So with these things we're talking about, 4 years from now, there is hope because our people are going to come on board. And when you have the young, the vibrancy, the energy, with the vision, then what you have a very progressive and productive country.
Let me deviate now. You can't do without opposition in democracy, but it has to be a virile opposition. What message do you have for the opposition so that the government of the day will sit up?
It's as simple as saying that they should realize that the loss of an election does not mean the end of a country. Because what we have seen in the last few months is frightening, where the opposition lost an election and they want to bring the entire country down. Okay. By propaganda, by lies, by outright falsehood. They should realize that the country will not end in the next 4 years. They should try again in 2023. If they put their act together, why not? We're all Nigerians. Power may swing from APC to PDP, PDP to APC, as we roll on. But what is emerging in this country are two strong parties, like we have in Britain, like we have in the United States. There are two strong parties emerging, and everybody should be partners in progress. We should not, practice irresponsible opposition where they just tell outright lies. For instance, everything is turned to a Fulani agenda, an Islamic agenda, you look at it for everything from a Christian view or a Muslim, every single thing. If not that recently facts came out to show that even Christian presidents in the past attended meetings of the OIC. It was almost becoming an issue. And the OIC started in 1969 under Gowon. It did not start yesterday. It started long ago. It was an issue under Babangida's regime too. And they were trying to bring it as if, oh, well, this president is moving the country. So I just gave one example of so many irresponsible kind of approach that we are having to national issues. The farmers' headers crisis should be removed away again from politics. It should be seen as pure criminal acts by criminals that we should all join hands together to address. So that's exactly the message I have for the opposition. Do not turn every single thing to tribal, approach every single issue with tribal sentiment, religious sentiment, and the like. Those things will polarize the country the more. We must, after the elections are over, we must be united in addressing the problems of this country. Exactly. Opposition should not transcend to destroying the country.
Yeah. What about inter-party relationship after elections?
You mean within the party?
Among the political parties.
Okay,
internal democracy.
In promoting democracy, it is crucial, especially because ours is a type where virtually every politician you see in a political party must have transited from different political parties. So you would have thought that with this melting pot, with the melting point and melting movement, that there will be that cohesion. But let me even tell you one problem. When you sit with politicians in their private rooms, some of the problems they come out to talk about, they don't talk about it. You will see two politicians from two different political parties. They dine and wine in weddings, in meetings. But whenever their interest becomes an issue, they bring in religion, They bring in
But in this case,
sectionalism.
Nigeria should be our interest.
Nigeria should be our interest, and we must work together. But for there to be intra-party harmony, there must be inter-party harmony.
Yes.
And I will urge my party to get it right. See the problem in the pages of newspaper between the old chairman and the new chairman. I will only urge them to shield their sword. And I will tell the problem. The old one was seen as one who was too soft, that the governors were having their ways and destroying structures. The new one came with the intention to put the governors to check, and in the process was considered as being excessive. And then the owners, so we must find a way of reconciling our people, but very important, because I ran for Senate on the platform APC in this FCT here.
Sure.
And I am a victim of what I am saying. If even the Supreme Court is clear on that, if a political is said the court cannot interfere in party affairs, but where party by themselves set for themselves a constitution, they must abide by the provision of the constitution. And if they fail, the court will come in and interpret.
Thank you.
So if a party says this is the procedure for primaries, and it is not the wishes of somebody that somebody imagined, let the winner be the winner.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And we must say we feel so much concerned that we could not join Katsina. It was beyond all. It was a technical challenge there. We couldn't help. I believe the Secretary to the Katsina State Government was supposed to be our guest. Is hearing us. It was beyond us. The audio challenge was really a big problem for us. Well, I believe it gets us. It was nice chatting with all of you, and starting with Dr. Gloria Laraba Shoda, National President, National Council for Women's Societies. It was nice having you on Tuesday Live.
Thank you very much.
And also Festus Kiamo, SAN, Director Strategy Communications, AP's Presidential Campaign. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
And I'll also come to you to get a secret of the... Last but not the least, Daniel Wala. Thanks for being on Inside.
A pleasure.
Sorry for on Tuesday Live. And also to Dr. Mustafa Mohammed, who was not able to join us due to technical challenges. Thank you so much. We sustained integrity. We sustained all that it takes to bring about good governance to the people. And we believe that all we said has been heard. That's it on Tuesday Live. On behalf of all of us, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Along a flyway, seasonally, birds migrate often north and south between breeding and wintering grounds. Many species migrate, and these occur naturally on one hand, even though out of necessity, compelled by other environmental factors on the other hand. This migration carries high cost in predation and mortality, including hunting by humans. Migration is driven primarily by availability of food. It occurs mainly in the northern hemisphere, where birds are funneled onto specific routes by natural barriers such as the Mediterranean and Caribbean seas. Migration dates back to about 3,000 years. Every year, on the 9th of May, the United Nations celebrate World's Migratory Birds Day to create awareness and promote safety of birds that migrate. During flight, some birds become incapacitated and are unable to continue the flight, which explains why sometimes we wake up to the sight of rare species of birds in our compounds. What are we supposed to do should this happen? Globally speaking, in other parts of the world, value is attached to this species of bird, even though that cannot be said about most African countries, Nigeria inclusive, where these birds are hunted down either for food or sold in the market to make money.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. You can watch NTA Parliament on NTA Star Times DDT platform. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Dab, dab, da, dab, da, dab, da, dab, dab. Yes. Oh. Now my dirty they smell like this. Now to throw away am quick. This kind smell fit make man sick. That woman throw away dirty for ground. Me sef go do the same this time around.
Hold up.
See, to do this kind badness by the book, you make sure say person or they look. And then you drop them nicely. Bros, nothing will happen. Trust me.
See, if you throw away dirty for ground, another person sef throw away dirty. Everybody come begin to throw away dirty for ground. Everywhere go come dey smell. Gutter go block, road go block, and you will like to dey dab. Now you say no more dabbing for you be that too. Dab, 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 dab. Yes.
This is the network service of the NTA.
It's Dynamic Records, babe.